and welcome to the Ascension Academy podcast. I am your host, Tumai, and we also have
Audrey here. This is episode 4 of season 1, and during this season we're focusing on essential oils and exploring all things health and wellness when it comes to using Mother Nature's blueprint.
That's right, Audrey. A little bit about me. I am your dedicated breath facilitator and coach. I'm helping you raise awareness within your body and within your breath.
And a bit about me, I'm your in-house aromatherapist and essential oil coach, and I'm here to help you gain insight into the incredible potential that Mother Nature offers up from her toolbox.
Great, and welcome to today's episode. Glad to be here with you. A little bit about today's conversation. We're going to be covering 4 main topics. Topic number 1, what does power and potency mean when it comes to essential oils? Topic number 2, the importance of the molecular synergy and bioavailability. I mean, for me, I would love to know the differences between the two. Topic number 3, the impact of manipulating or adulterating essential oils. And the last 2 topics, the implications of man-made compounds and the real-life applications or benefits. We're going to go through all of that and more today with Audrey. Pretty exciting, hey?
Yeah, it sounds very technical, but we're going to really just speak from our heart and break it down for you.
So heads up, we also have a masterclass coming up with regards to the key 3 secrets when it comes to essential oils or aromatherapy, allowing you to comprehend, communicate, and use essential oils almost as a therapist without having to do all of the years of study that Audrey has done. And we've put that together. That's going to be available in the next 10 days. There's 50 tickets available for those that would like to register for free. But let's kick off with today's topic. First off, I guess, Audrey, I want to talk about essential oils and what power and potency actually mean.
Yeah, this is something that most people really glance over and never really put their mind on. And when we break it down and talk about power and potency, it's really important when you're investing in an essential oil for yourself and your family. So let's start with just what it means, right? What is power? What is potency? And that's what distinguishes a good essential oil from a not so good essential oil. And power essentially is, I loved your definition of power, Tumai, but if I can try and talk about power, it's really about the amount of work that something uses or expends over a period of time. How much power does that essential oil offer? Just like Mother Nature. Mother Nature is very powerful, very potent, and very efficient, right? And maybe Tumai can describe about your definition of power.
Yeah, sure. For me, it's always, the way that I see it is always like having gears and the difference between different types of gears. I mean, when we had the steam train engine, that was huge technological advance on how much we could move a certain load from point A to point B, versus now we've got electricity and we've got a different way to move a set load. So power, that's the definition of having pure power to me. And then obviously potency is slightly different.
Yep.
I've always looked at it kind of like, and there is something that I'll share up on screen right now. Let's have a look, make sure this comes through. I'll just go back to this screen. Hopefully this comes through. I've always seen it like in this way. In science, they define power, and much rather in engineering terms, as time of rate for doing the work or delivering energy, expressible as the amount of work done, or energy transferred divided by time interval. Now, to me, when I read that, it's kind of like a whole lot of...
Whoa, dude, what is this formula?
There's a lot of words there. But the key aspects to take away is that there's a time aspect, there's a rate aspect, there's a load of work, or an amount of energy that it would take to get that work done. And then there's a time aspect. So the way that they would communicate that in terms of a formula or a calculation is what we have up on screen. But I've always seen it kind of like the difference between it here. If I take away the sound, the difference between it here is you've got gears which operate mechanically in this manner with oil, and it's moving very slow, versus a V8 engine, which is doing 500 horsepower, and both are working extremely efficiently. But obviously, this one has 8 times the strength. When it just put it quite simply, now there's a designated workload, there's time, and there's a rate of work that's happening in this particular situation.
Perfect. And when you translate that over to the world of aromatherapy or essential oils, a lot of you in this audience can relate to when you first started your journey and getting something that's pretty, run of the mill, off the shelf. And just like myself, using those essential oils, I had to use a certain amount, but I didn't see the results. It didn't have the power that I wanted to get out of that essential oil. I have a perfect example later that I might share about lavender and the power of lavender and what it did for me, but we'll get into that later, hopefully. Now, going back to, let's talk about potency and what potency means. And I think if we look at this definition, potency is just basically measured as how much dosage you require and the given effect that comes out of that dosage, the intensity of that dosage. So the oils that we use in our lives is extremely potent, and we'll explain about that later. Why is it potent? But it requires very little. A little goes a very long way, and the results is huge.
Right. So you're saying that when we have the same dosage, but both A and B on this particular chart has a completely different response, and that's the difference between potency.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and another word is efficacy. How efficient, how much efficacy does an essential oil have? Depends on, that is basically describing the potency of that essential oil. And we're going to break that down with you and what you need to look for in an essential oil to get potency.
Sure. Okay. So that's the difference between power and potency, and that's what it means when it comes to essential oils, Audrey. Why then, I guess, why is it important to distinguish or to bring this up as the main key? Why is this the main key?
Why is this the main key? Well, I think there's just so much misinformation out there in the essential oil world. And a lot of times people tell me like, oh, Audrey, essential oils don't work. There's this fallacy, right? But what they're really missing is essential oils work. It's just perhaps you're using one that doesn't have the potency and the power behind it. So people will label it as something that doesn't work or, in their lives. So it's really important, very key that you do the research and find the essential oils that have all the compounds in it to create the potency and the power and to give you the results that you need in your life. And what sets apart a really amazing therapeutic oil versus one that's just used for smell, just smells nice.
Sure. Okay. So earlier on, Audrey, we brought up the topic around synergy. How does the synergy in essential oils help in restoring balance within the body? And maybe unpack a little bit about what synergy means.
Yeah, right. Okay, great. So what is synergy and why is that important when we're using essential oils in our body? Well, let's just break it down to the molecular level, right? It's really important to have synergy because you need essential oils to essentially communicate and work in harmony with the cells in your body or the cellular functions of your body. So if we just distill it down to the basic form, it's really about effective communication with your cellular pathways in your body. And without synergy, an essential oil cannot create or even open up those channels of communication, right? And intelligently speak to your body and ask it to do what it wants to do. So synergy, if we break that down, is really about, at a molecular level, all these compounds working together like a team, right? So that they can get, the outcome is greater than the sum of its parts. So there's different types of synergy. We're not going to go into today, but we unpack that in our masterclass. But to give you, I will give you a couple of examples. Like, for example, synergy in nature. What does that look like, right? So if you think of an ecosystem, a rainforest, whatever sort of a scenario you want to picture in nature, all the organisms work in synergy together, collectively, to create an ecosystem that is in harmony with one another. They're not at odds with one another, right? So that's what synergy is. And so when we're talking about essential oils, which is the essence of Mother Nature, we need to conserve all those compounds so that they can maintain the synergy that they've always had when they were in the plant, when they were in nature.
Yeah, right. And that's why I find the distillation process as such a fundamental process that needs to be protected and honored, because the full profile matters, the full fingerprint of Mother Nature, the entire blueprint is important to gain the therapeutic and synergistic benefits. And especially when you start to think about how nature is not at odds with each other, like it works together as a team to, whether it's a passing away process and a plant or a tree is about to move on to its next stages, or if it's being able to raise a brand new vegetation or a new piece of plant, like everything's working together, including the soil. But outside of that too, why I've always been attracted to the word husbandry is our ability to care for the land and care for Mother Nature and the entire environment. Almost provides a bridge and suggests that we are a part of that process as well. That not only does Mother Nature look after us, but we can also turn around and be a part of that synergy and look after her. So I've really, of late, thought about these key words and these processes, and our relationship with Mother Nature is really phenomenal for me.
It's amazing. That kind of reminds me of something that I read about Mother Nature and how it evolves to produce things that are perfectly fitted for human needs. So there was this book I read, I suddenly forgot the name of it, but it talks to how when we plant a seed in our garden, it actually spoke about how you should keep it in your mouth, right? And then it takes on the chemical makeup of your saliva. And when you go and plant that seed in your garden, it actually grows the plant, the fruit or whatever it's yielding, with the chemical compounds that your body needs, because it received your blueprint, and in return it's providing a very unique blueprint that your body requires. I found that really fascinating.
Yeah, that's a great book. I do know the name of it. Wasn't it
Anastasia? That's right. Yeah.
Anastasia. Yeah, great book. So again, I'll ask, now that we've unpacked a bit about synergy, its relationship with the entire process and with us, again, Audrey, how does the synergy in essential oils help in restoring balance within the body?
Right. So if you break it down to the cellular level, like as above, so below, we're talking about harmony with our cells. And our cells have all these receptor sites on it. It's so complex. And nature has, essential oils are so complex. Mother Nature doesn't make simple compounds. So when we are preserving the complete integrity of the plant and the essential oil, and it contains all the compounds it's supposed to have to support your body's health, when you use that on your body and in your body, it is communicating on multiple pathways with your cell. So it's what scientists call polymolecular. It has more than one molecule. But whenever man comes in and makes something in a lab, they can never replicate this complex system and ecosystem of compounds. They can only make one molecule. So when you have a team of compounds, a team of molecules working together to communicate with all the receptor sites of your cells, this is just beautiful. It just keeps everything in check. It's like a checking system. They check with one another. And if you just introduce like a man-made compound, for example, it just communicates with one pathway of your cell, right? So that can cause a lot of imbalance, as you can imagine. Yeah.
Now it says here, we've got on a separate slide, it says, what is synergy? And to read it out to those that are listening to our podcast or those that are inside of our members group that are re-watching the replay or watching us live, synergy describes when the combination of two or more components result in an effect that is greater than the sum of each component's contribution, or when an entirely new effect is observed that is not present in any of the components individually. It's one of the most powerful attributes of natural products, meaning that if we isolate, much like what science does, is we sort of look at one solo or individual component of Mother Nature and we say that it's valued at X amount, but that value dramatically changes the minute you introduce one slightly different chemical expression. It could expand by 10%. It could completely change the structure, right? So we need to be able to open our blinders and not to see things as individual or independent, but we need to be able to see the entire workforce or army of Mother Nature working together and how powerful that is. And that's how I view synergy.
Yeah, and when we're talking about bioavailability or bioactivity, synergy is really important because one compound in that essential oil requires another compound for them to work very effectively in your body. So it's like one opens the door to allow the other compound to enter that pathway in your body so that it has the intended effect.
Right. So that leads me on to kind of the next question for you, Audrey. And I wanted to bring up or ask how or what has synergy got to do with bioavailability? If we could sort of break down each one of these terms. We've already spoken about synergy. Can we talk a little bit about bioavailability and what are the differences or what do they have in relationship with each other? Yeah. So again, what has synergy got to do with bioavailability?
Yeah, like I mentioned, synergy and bioavailability go hand in hand. So when you have a team that you're working together, one is going to bring elements or characteristics that the other doesn't have. So you work together to create an effect that is greater than its individual parts or might create an effect that may not typically even be present in either of them, but they're working together so that you have the intended effect on that pathway. An example that people might relate to is, you've probably heard, oh, turmeric is fantastic. Turmeric's great for inflammation in the body, right? But if you don't take it together with black pepper, then it doesn't have the intended effect. So there's a synergy that happens between turmeric and black pepper. And that applies to many, many other areas when we talk about food and nutrients. And so the same applies to essential oil compounds. They need each other in order to have the effect in your body and the uptake in your body.
Right, that's a great point. I love how Dr. Doug Corrigan says essential oils increase the bioavailability of many different molecules. This is because of the cooperative synergy that exists between the collection of molecules. Keywords bioavailability, keyword cooperative synergy, keyword collection.
Yep. Fantastic.
So, what's next, Audrey?
When it
comes to bioavailability, what do we need to talk about? Anything else here? Because the way that I kind of look at it is essentially black pepper is opening up like a gateway or enhancing, enriching, or supporting turmeric's delivery. Or
something's happening between them. I don't know what's happening at the molecular level. We haven't looked into that, but they need each other in order for turmeric to take the to have that impact on your body. Okay. It's kind of like, just one opening the door, allowing the compounds to enter that pathway, or just the chemical makeup. Like anything can happen in nature, right?
I could imagine imagine how difficult it would be for man to replicate all of these processes when we're thinking about the entire collection of Mother Nature. And I think that kind of bridges us to the next key question here, or consideration that we can be on, is kind of how do man-made compounds impact the therapeutic benefits of essential oils? If we were to touch or adulterate any of these essential oils and maybe not even have the right process to distill an essential
There's
oil.
so many elements and variables, yeah.
Yeah, how does that impact?
Yeah, and it's really widespread. There's so many essential oils out there that have been manipulated, that have been adulterated, and that's just because it's just a wide open market for anyone to jump into to make a quick buck, to make profits. And there's a lot of unscrupulous people out there and companies out there, and there's no real regulation over it, and it's really hard for the average person to even decipher or find out if their essential oil is authentic and pure. So it's because it's so easy for people to mistake a bad for a good, they get away with it. And it's to keep profits high, it's to get a bigger yield, it's to move products, it's to earn profits. So yeah, it's definitely difficulty and expensive. We talk like it's difficult and expensive to conserve and preserve the integrity of an essential oil.
It reminds me of a friend that we have that started using essential oils and had no clue as to like what you did for work and what aromatherapy was. And I think one day it was something along the lines of like, she goes, "Oh, I thought it was just to smell nice." And your answer was like, "Oh, no. It's like, it's vibrational. There's a blueprint there. There's an entire process. It's got all of these therapeutic benefits that are unspoken for most of Western society."
Yeah.
Eastern methodology have used all of these herbs, plants in many different ways, and now more than ever, it's become accessible and easily available. And a really classic piece here is just like, if you could just understand this key difference when it comes to essential oils, and I'm about to share screen, you'll realize that essential oils are far more than just a fragrance or a scent or a smell. Because in lavender, one of my favorite essential oils here, it's simple essential oil. It can contain anywhere between 80 to 300 chemical constituents. Lavender has anywhere from 500 to 700, depending on the species. So Lavandula angustifolia has around this range. And so if you could imagine that these two chemical structures, these shapes, are the two that provide the scent of lavender.
Yeah, two primary compounds. There may be a third or fourth, but these are the two main ones that contribute to the aroma of lavender. So when people found this out, they're like, "Oh, let's just create these two compounds and make lavender fragrance," right? So because it's man-made and it doesn't contain all the other 500 compounds, for example, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah, so those that are listening via audio on the podcast on Spotify or wherever you are, we're looking at the lavender plant, and Lavandula angustifolia has anywhere between 500 to 700. The two primary, and you can think of it like hexagon shapes or chemical structures. These two are the ones that contribute to just the scent of lavender. So what science does is they isolate and look at just these two structures on their own. They're able to extract it and then reapply it in many different ways. So essentially you're removing, remember again everybody, we're removing all of these structures. And when Dr. Doug or many essential oil experts talk about the collection of Mother Nature, the entire signature, the entire fingerprint, we're talking about all 500 to 700 and not just two.
Yeah.
And so if you follow on, the fragrance that's created just looks like this. But what you want is many different chemical shapes that work collectively. They work together.
They fit together. They work as a team. And so that's why you will find practically the whole market bombarded with lavender fragranced products. And you wonder, well, where on earth are all these farms?
Yeah, that's right. So So let me help understand. So when man-made when they're man-made compounds,
Yes.
what are some of the other impacts again?
Well, let's just think about it. Man simply cannot replicate Mother Nature's complexity. And because we have, as a human species, evolved with Mother Nature over thousands of years, we have developed a synergy with each other, right? We have this symbiotic relationship. When man-made compounds come into place and we introduce that into our body and into our lives, into our homes, into our children's and our pets' environment, our body cannot process man-made chemicals very well. It just doesn't, our body doesn't know where to place those compounds. And well, one is you don't get an effective or a potent or a powerful essential oil, right? There's no synergy there. The other is it's just not able to cover all the different pathways in your body to get the entire impact, intended impact rather. But other than that, when there's a long, let's say when you have a long exposure to man-made chemicals over a long period of time, your body, it's an amazing thing. It can process and do an effective job at eliminating things, but at some point it's not going to be able to keep up with that process, right? So it's going to get rid of it in one way, one regard or another. But if it doesn't, it gets built up in your organs, in your tissue, in your bloodstream, and that can become really toxic. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, and I've always seen it like you can tell the difference when when you've smelt an entire spectrum of lavender. You can get all of the different rich smells of the soil and all of the higher notes, mid-tones, the entire spectrum. So even just that is dramatically different to just buying an essential oil lavender. And when I smell it, to me, now that I've anchored with this particular essential oil, it does smell rather empty to me, like missing quite a lot.
Yeah, and so when you do dabble a little longer, with essential oils and your nose becomes accustomed to what is natural and what is not natural, there's a huge difference. Essential oils should smell like nature.
Good. So then are there any specific examples where adulteration has perhaps negatively affected the efficacy or safety of essential oils?
Yeah,
because we always see like many different reports and newsreels about it.
Yeah, sometimes you do. And to be honest, it's very rare to come across any sort of adverse reaction to essential oils when you're using them prudently, when you know some of the basic guidelines to using essential oils safely. But you still have that occasional, report of, very bad side effects, whether it be skin sensitivity or even people getting burned by these chemicals, or whether pets have actually been injured and then they just say, everyone's panicking and saying essential oils are bad, essential oils are harmful. But no, nature never intended that. So it's really important to know that whenever these sort of allegations pop up, you have to ask the question, right? Not everyone's going to be well versed in the area of essential oil knowledge. And so the layman is going to point the finger. Oh, it says essential oil on the bottle. They used essential oil and now their pet or their child or themselves are harmed. But there's so many other questions you have to ask here. Is the essential oil more than just a fragrance, right? Is it unadulterated, right? Does it have man-made compounds in there? There's a lot of people out there just creating all these fragrances and labeling them as essential oils, and so many people don't know the difference between a therapeutic, quality oil and one that you just put in a diffuser to smell nice. So yeah, there's a lot of adverse reactions when you're not careful and you're using something that is not pure.
Okay, great. So today, Audrey, we've spoken about the difference between power and potency and how it's a key consideration when choosing essential oils. We've spoken about synergy and bioavailability and the difference between a therapeutic grade versus maybe adulterated or even synthetic essential oils. For those that have stuck around and continued to listen on to the back end, we're going to go through some of the other basic questions as well, just to get some of those key questions that are constantly asked as frequently asked questions, get those answered. But my last question here is, how can listeners, when it comes to this topic, how can listeners incorporate essential oils into their daily routines for maximum benefit?
Yep. So just like essential oils and all its beautiful compounds from nature, we also have, day to day, we have this beautiful array of chemical magic happening in our body. And so it's just like going through different seasons in your life or going through the different seasons in the year. You want to just mix it up a bit, get some variety of different essential oil molecules into your body on a weekly basis. Don't stick to just one blend or one oil, because remember, every essential oil has a very unique blueprint, unique signature from Mother Nature. And so it's really fun and exciting to experiment with different essential oils every week in your body, and to see what happens in your body as a result, right? It's magical. And another way is to think about how you can use them to support your current modalities that you use on a day-to-day basis, whether it be breath work, whether it be meditation, whether it be certain mindset practices. Use them together with pure essential oils to enhance and make that practice more potent in your life, right?
Great approach. So we're going to go on a 60-second break, and after the break, we're going to cover all of your questions, the bare fundamentals, to ensure that you get the answers that you need very quickly in a short approach, and we'll return back from a 60-second break. Be with you soon. Right, so welcome back. We're going to get straight into the Q&A section, or the FAQ section in our particular case. So quite plainly, I'm going to ask Audrey a question, and she's going to answer as best as she can. Even maybe I'll put in some of my details that I've realized along the way. So starting off with the first question, we have for Audrey, what are essential oils?
What are essential oils? Well, essential oils are natural aromatic compounds or volatile liquids that's extracted or cold pressed from plant material, whether it be the seed, the root, the leaves, the stem, the bark, or any other plant material. And what it does for the plant, which is to help it survive and thrive, it can also help the human body with that.
My sort of approach, or our approach, is to say that essential oils are Mother Nature's quintessential answer to balance, well-being, and whole health.
It carries the energetic signature of Mother Nature's botanicals, expressed through its liquid aroma.
So if that's the case, Audrey, the next question here is, where do essential oils come from? Where do they originate from?
Yep. So essential oils come from different parts of the plant. Like I mentioned earlier, it comes from the root, it comes from the stem, the seeds, the flowers, any part of that plant. And some plants actually produce more than one type of essential oil. So, for example, a good one is the orange tree. The orange tree can produce 3 different essential oils: a petitgrain, neroli, and orange, all from different parts of that same plant, which is really fascinating.
I think what I find phenomenal in my research, and also just watching Audrey along the way, attending the farms, is realizing that each essential oil has a different chemical expression based on when the seed was planted, to the season it was picked, to how it was picked, to the actual part that you distill, how you distill, how long you distill, and so many other parts that we don't see when considering essential oils, because that's at the farm level. And I just find that phenomenal when it comes to the origins of and creation of essential oils. So my next question for you then, Audrey, is what are essential oils used for?
Yeah. So starting with what they do for the plants. So plants produce essential oils to thrive and survive in nature. They may use that aroma to attract pollinators, right? So you can use that in relation to humans. You know, we give off a certain aroma, and this may attract the opposite sex, right? And plants also use essential oil aroma to defend themselves against predators, or they use it to resist microbes, or they might even use it to seal and heal their wounds. Like when you go out and cut a tree bark and you see that sap come out, that is to seal and heal that cut. There's so many other things they use. They use it for communication with one another. Different species in the ecosystem communicate with one another, so they know. Maybe I'm just imagining myself in a forest with other plants. I might want to give off the scent to warn my neighbor about impending danger, or I might want to tell my neighbor, we need to work together so that we can survive together when the harsh winter comes around. Whatever plants do, right? They use that essential oil for a reason. So similarly, we can use those oils to benefit us in our ecosystem. They're really particularly useful for our emotions.
What I find is really tangible when it comes to the use of essential oils are the following. Number one, it increases mental alertness. Number two, it supports your sleep. Number three, it improves athletic performance. Number four, it supports your hormone balance. And number five, it reduces oxidative stress. All of which, those 5 examples provide a really holistic, balanced view on health if you can address all of these areas. So
yeah, and it's really important to address those areas from the get-go versus waiting for something to become imbalanced in your body, which then manifests into something more chronic. And then you have to get really, invasive therapy.
Yeah, good. All right, so if you're sitting down with somebody and they've got multiple options, Audrey, they've visited their own doctors, they've considered their own with their own naturopath, many different pathways that they could choose, and then they come to you as an aromatherapist and they ask, why choose essential oils? What would you say?
Oh my goodness, why not choose essential oils, especially when it's really authentic and pure? First of all, it's really, really gentle. There's hardly any side effects, very few contraindications. There might be some, if you're on medication or that, but otherwise really gentle, just like nature intended. No real big side effects. And when used over a period of time, it actually balances your emotions almost immediately, right? And as you know, a lot of you may know, emotions is the root cause of so many other illnesses that crop up in our lives, right? Whether it be stress or whether it be anxiety or whether it be just anger, frustration or sadness. When we can really manage our emotions on a day-to-day basis, harmonize that, we're able to really, just be many, many steps ahead of the game, right?
The part that I find really important to get, and at the up front when I started my essential oils journey, that blew my mind, was that the immune system extends far beyond your gut and even your mouth. It extends out to your immediate environment. And when you're able to use or remove man-made products in the home and replace it with Mother Nature as a regular basis for what we do in our toilets, bathrooms, kitchen, showers, what that does is it allows you to continually support your immune system and remove chemicals and toxic chemicals out of the home.
Yeah. And it's not about being perfect. You know, we can't possibly eliminate every single toxic chemical, right? It's about being realistic here. What I do know is when I first started using essential oils, I knew that I could control what I was bringing into my home. I could be the gatekeeper of my home and support my family in that way. I can't necessarily, protect the family from whatever is out there in the environment, right? But we can do the best that we can at home so that our body can really be in its peak performance.
Okay, another simple question that we often get, Audrey, is how do essential oils work? So in a quick, say, 30 to 60 seconds, how exactly do they work?
How do essential oils work? Well, the fastest way is through our sense of smell. And because we spoke about its speed of delivery in our previous podcast, because of their size and how quickly they can access our emotional brain, that is by far the best and fastest way to benefit from essential oils because they do intelligently communicate with the emotional part of your brain. And that part of the brain is also in charge of your hormone production and your heart rate and your blood pressure and your metabolism and how you sleep. So when these little compounds are working together in that part of the brain, it's really supporting you to harmonize and regulate those functions.
So before we wrap up, Audrey, I want to have you tell maybe an important story or something to leave the listeners with when it comes to essential oils, things that you've experienced over the years.
Yeah, maybe when it comes to the
takeaway.
power and potency and how quickly I've experienced that impact, which really led me down this path of becoming an educator. I'm just passionate about it because of my personal experience. And one of the first things that I experienced in regards to the power and potency of essential oils is its ability to create a physiological effect on my body that I observed very, very quickly within a short amount of time. And one of those examples was when I used frankincense, the king of essential oils, Boswellia carteri, that species. I literally saw a scar tissue on my body disappear within a week. And I'd had that scar for 6 years. So that was like mind-blowing for me. And there's others as well, like just simple day-to-day stuff that mothers struggle with, whether it be tummy aches. Like this morning I had a really bad tummy ache because I mixed the wrong kind of foods together. And I was able to really support my body in detoxifying the issue and be able to show up today on this podcast. So yeah, it's just the potency is so important. It really helps to make life so much easier and stress-free.
That's great. Well, that's it for episode number 4 when it comes to power and potency with regards to essential oils. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Again, we have an upcoming masterclass when it comes to the key 3 secrets of using essential oils. We also want to invite you to download our free Ultimate Aroma Breath Workbook on our website. Simply visit www.ascensionacademy.au. And you'll be able to click on through to download that for free. It includes all of the aromatherapy videos by yours truly, Audrey Lee. She goes and breaks down each section: relax, release, restore, and revitalize. And it also has breathworks from myself, which support both relaxing your system, a simple release within your system. What if you want to restore the system or revitalize the system? What essential oils do you use and what breathwork style would be the best fitting for you? The workbook includes a checklist and also a journaling area where you're able to really be with your own body, with your own breath, to raise your own awareness. That's there available for you for free if you go ahead and download that on our website. And again, I'm signing out. This is one of your co-hosts, Tumai from Ascension Academy.
And this is Audrey signing out, and we can't wait to see you on the next one.
Bye now, everybody.
Bye for now.